We are in the fourth quarter, which is the busiest season in federal contracting. What do you recommend government contractors do right now to give them the best chance at winning contracts this summer?
If you're a government contractor who's been working since the last fiscal period, or October, November, December through the holidays, or if you're a government contractor who even got started this year, January, February, and March, if you have some sort of activity, if you have some sort of relationships, meaning contracting officers whom you've bid with, now is the time to go back to everything that you've worked towards up to this point in the fiscal period. We're at the fourth quarter, July, August, September, up till September 30th. You want to double down on everything and with everyone that you've done and you've worked so hard on up to this point. Okay, so yes, there's new opportunities, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But if there's any point in time where you want to go back to a contracting officer, if you want to follow up with someone whom you've submitted a bid with in the past, now is the time to do it. And we'll get a lot more into what I mean by that, but it's the hottest time of year. It's the time of year where the more awards are posted than any other quarter. So let's keep going.
Why does government contracting get so busy this time of the year?
It's busy this time of year because the government has a budget that they have to spend again by September 30th. If they don't spend their entire budget, their budget is reduced the following fiscal period by that amount that they didn't spend. Some agencies are more organized, others are a little bit last minute, but all agencies in the federal space right now are feeling the heat. They are feeling the pressure to get contracts for goods and services pushed out and awarded before September 30th, which is why, just like tax season is very busy at what time of the year for accountants, right? We all know that. Got to get the taxes in before the deadlines. Same with contracting. It's not at all like taxes, but it's very much like that deadline. They've got to get the contracts awarded and issued, and sometimes that also means some contracts get preferential treatment in terms of what's more important of getting awarded, this or that. We may not have funds for both, right? So, and that's also why sometimes we can see contracts say, hey, the dollars have not been obligated yet, but we're doing everything we can, okay? Which is why you as a small business owner, you need to be doing everything that you can to really meet contracting during this final quarter of the fiscal year, to meet them where they're at and to truly be a problem solver. And in this quarter, this is the problem that they have. They need to get these contracts awarded or they're going to lose it.
Are there really more opportunities during this period to go after, or is this just when more contracts are awarded?
So both. It's both. As I just said, more contracts are awarded typically in this quarter than any other quarter. As an aggregate, some industries are different. You may see more of other services, take like snow plowing, snow removal, right? Those might be like beginning of the year sorts of thing. If you're trying to bid on snow removals and contracts in the dead of winter, okay, you're already too late. They already need it, right? So we can see things in the spring and fall for that. And we're in the summer right now. But 100%, there are more opportunities posted on sam.gov in terms of volume and frequency of posting for the same reasons that I'm giving. So it's not just more awards are being pushed out. There are, but there's also more opportunities being posted, and those opportunities need to be awarded as well. That's literally the variables, the caveats that are creating this very kind of intense, fast-paced pressure for contracting and for contractors just like you guys.
Is it worth attending site visits in person if you can during the fourth quarter?
I highly recommend it. Okay. First off, I highly recommend you personally attend any site visit that you can. However, I also know that site visits cost time and money. Okay. They're not necessarily free or cheap. I don't recommend anybody pay for site visits to a teaming partner or anything like that. That's their part of acquiring the work and potentially being on your team to quote the job. But anytime that you can personally attend, I highly recommend it. And with that contrast, over these next 3 months, attend as many as possible. For example, one of my personal stories is that I went from Michigan to Pennsylvania for, I believe it was Air National Guard. And I went there with my construction manager to go look at a concrete, kind of paving job. When we went there, after we reviewed that, that's all that, we were told, that's the only statement of work we had, we printed off with us, whatever. The Corps said, hey, I've got 4 other projects that we are about to push out and solicit for. While you're here, do you want to look at those? Me and my construction manager, we looked at each other and we said, yes, of course. Like, let's make the most of this trip naturally. But hey, maybe there will be some sort of opportunity for an award or additional, opportunities. So we went and reviewed and walked all the 4 additional sites. So we ended up leaving there with not 1, but 5 statements of work. And we ended up actually winning 4 of those 5 jobs after we went back, did our pricing, wrote our proposals, et cetera, because we were there, we were able to work that relationship. If it was, somebody that we were sending on our behalf, it may not have gone that way, or it may not even have gone necessarily that smoothly, or in terms of like communicating back and forth. That wouldn't have been possible if we didn't attend that site visit. So if you're going to do it, I would say it can be a reasonable investment during this time of year. Again, if something makes sense, it's in your backyard, always do it. But if you're going to do it and you want to put a little bit of investment into it, now is the time of year to do that. Just take an example of the story that I just gave you of what could happen.
Should you be afraid to bug contracting officer during this time of the year?
So guys, talked about this in other videos, other recent Q&As even. We don't want to put contracting on a pedestal. That's not my answer here, but it's the context. They are human beings. They have a job to do. You're a human being, you have a job to do. Okay, we're not so different. So you're not bugging them if you are showing up professionally. Even if they have a lot of work on their desk, that shouldn't mean that they shouldn't prioritize the work that they need to prioritize. We get busy too, but guess what? We got to step up to the plate, we got to do it, and we got to get it done. That doesn't mean someone or something is bugging us. So I want you to get that out of your head. If you're coming professionally, you're showing up to bid, you're submitting RFIs, you have clarifications around government forms, maybe you need information for upcoming site visit, whatever. These are all professional things. And yes, contracting is very busy this time of year. And absolutely, yes, it can be harder to get them on the phone because there's just more that they're doing. So their pie chart, there's less to go around to, sometimes answer the phone. But does that mean that you shouldn't call? Does that mean that you shouldn't ask the questions that you have? Does that mean you shouldn't get the clarifications that you need for an upcoming site visit or upcoming bid? No, you still have to proceed as you would throughout the year. And if throughout the year you're also not afraid because you're not putting them on a pedestal, right now you're absolutely not doing that either. So continue to ask your questions, continue to do your follow-ups, continue to reach out. Adjust your expectation because they are busy and you cannot control them. But don't do anything different other than double down and do more of it during this time of year. You certainly don't want to do less. Okay, you're not being their best friend. Okay, you have a good conversation with them. It does not mean that they're going to give you the award anyways. Okay, and you're not, on the flip side, you're not giving your company a bad reputation. A lot of people are worried about this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want them to influence my bid. No, they are not allowed to do that. They have to follow criteria. They have to stick to what's in writing. Okay, they have to follow instructions, evaluation factors, right? It is not their personal opinion. It is not their personal preference, because guess what? In 3 to 6 months, they may be off to another job, right? So they are in a seat to move the mission forward. They are not the only one that can do that. So show up professionally, show up consistently, follow up. Don't be afraid.
What's something you can use right now to ask a contracting officer without straight up asking them to award you a contract?
Right? So to be clear, guys, we're not calling and asking for an award. That is bugging. We're not saying, hey, let me send you my capability statement. Here's my capes, and you're just like spamming it out to contracting. That is bugging them. Okay, these forms of direct marketing, in my opinion, will give your company a bad reputation, if anything, right? What you should do is professionally show up. And as I mentioned at I think the first Q&A in today's training, is, again, now is the time to double down. And so how do you specifically double down? So with contracting, you can call them, or if you have an email thread, which I teach all of my students, you follow up on that email thread because you already have a direct line. You already know they're responsive there. You don't want to just keep repeating and starting over, one and done, one and done. Build a relationship with contracting, not through bugging, not through asking for an award, right? But through consistent, targeted efforts, questions, bids, site visit. They get to know you. They get to trust you. You are a problem solver for them. So you can ask them, if they have anything on their desk, if they have any scopes of work that they can send you that they need a quote for, because they probably do. And they may send it to you. I've done this a lot. That is not unprofessional. That is not bias or favoritism. They're soliciting it out. And kind of simultaneously or additionally, you can ask if they have any opportunities posted on SAM. Contracting they have a rule book to follow, but that also doesn't mean that they cannot increase competition for the opportunities that they're working as part of their job, right? So asking any relationships, any threads, any phone calls that you have from the past as you're doubling down now this time of year, following up, seeing if they have any scopes of work on their desk that they need a quote for, especially in the busy season, especially as they're running out of time. All of a sudden, now you show up to solve their problem. Or if they have anything posted on sam.gov that you can go ahead and look at, or you can let them know briefly what you do and they can tell you, hey, well, we have this, you might be interested in that. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but for me, at this time of year where there's too much to bid on, and I have to somehow sort what I'm going to bid on and prioritize and what I'm not going to bid on and prioritize, I would like to focus on those opportunities where contracting has said, hey, can you look at this scope of work? Or contracting has said, hey, we have this opportunity posted on sam.gov. Can you check this out and send us a response if you're interested in? Okay, the difference is between responding to an opportunity where contracting doesn't even know who you are, doesn't know where you exist, right? Because it's one and done. You may not have no interactions with them. The other is you're following up with a thread of history that you're now doubling down on. I can't say it enough, right? And they're saying, hey, if you're interested in this, can you send me a response? I don't know about you, but every single time I'm going to go after the one that contracting is asking me to. And again, it doesn't mean they're going to give you the award, but in terms of positioning yourself, putting yourself in the best possible position, I will ask you, which position do you think is better? Now, guys, none of this matters if you can't write competitive and compliant proposals. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's free, okay? GovKidMethod.com, go to GovRFP. I've set the first 3 modules of my in-depth, comprehensive proposal writing training, okay? You wanna know what right looks like. That's what GovRFP is. Need a proposal, get GovRFP is the mission, okay? This is the proven proposal writing system I've taught to my students for years, but over the last year, I nearly killed myself refining it and making it so boiled down and logical so that you don't have to take months, you don't have to take weeks, you don't have to take days, but in a couple of hours, you can sit down with your first or your next solicitation. This isn't just for beginners, but you can sit down with it in a couple hours, even working with the AI, because we have scripts for that too. You can have a proposal response that you're confident in sending to a contracting officer. They're going to think that you are a veteran company, not veteran in terms of SDV, OSB set aside, but veteran in terms of you've been doing this for a while. Okay, so you can understand the benefit of that. I don't want you to trust me or take my word for it. I want you to go try it for yourself, which is why I'm setting a portion, the beginning portion, all the way up to developing your proposal outline to free. No credit card required. Just put in your email address and you can literally check it out right now if you've got a few minutes. GovKidMethod.com. Now, guys, we are one of the fastest growing federal contracting channels here on YouTube. Consider joining us. I'm pushing out a lot of these trainings. I'm doubling it down a lot specifically on YouTube. So I don't want you to miss those. So consider joining our channel, subscribing, if that's something that you don't want to miss out on. Again, highly recommend the GovRFP free version for everybody. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next one.